there Lego fans, and welcome back to another build. For this week's release, we're bringing it back to the Star Wars line with the iconic Mos Eisley Cantina. Kit number 75290 at 3,187 pieces, and beyond building that cantina itself, this set looks pretty great because it comes with over 20 minifigures, some of them being set exclusives, and that's pretty great. Before we get to the unboxing, as you're watching this video, if you find you're enjoying it, please like, share, and or subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Now, let's get to the unboxing, build the set, so we can have a closer look at the Mos Eisley Cantina. Going into this, I definitely knew that the Cantina was a large kit, but until I had it laid out in front of me with all the little components attached, I wasn't fully aware of just how big the footprint of this kit was going to be. I'm not saying this is a bad thing, I mean there's a lot of advantages here, but definitely something to keep in mind if you're thinking about purchasing this one. In addition to the Cantina itself, we have 2 additional smaller buildings, 2 small vessels, 2 moisture evaporators, and 21 minifigures. Which was really great, because with this much surface area to cover, you have all the minifigures you need to create the bustling scene of your desires. Now for a closer look, starting with the Cantina. It's a pretty large single-story structure with a roof design that gives a good viewing of the interior, with a variety of features that can optionally expand your viewing on a particular area, open up the entire roof, or get right up close and personal with the interior scene. To go through these various levels, first you can remove the entire skylight structure from the center of the roof, pop open the little domes, remove the 6 panels along the outside edge of the roof, and or spread the whole thing wide open. Getting even closer, starting over on the left side of the bar, we have 3 little alcoves, each with their own seating, a little table with 2 seats just out in the open, and the front entrance. Over to the right of the bar, we again have 3 alcoves, but this time the first one has our musicians, another table out in the open with 2 little seats, and again, the entrance. In the center, we have the bar, looking a little lonely without anything going around it. And yeah, I could set up some minifigures here, but instead, if you just fold the whole thing up, now all the minifigures that were standing around seemingly awkwardly when it was spread open make a lot more sense surrounding the bar, creating this nice full scene that, from every angle, has little things that make me reminisce about Episode 4. Just out the front door, R2-D2 and C-3PO are off to find a place to hide from the Sand Troopers, who, just off on the left here, have a little place where they can pen their dewback, having some slightly raised walls to mark its edges, and a little trough here so it can get a drink, and a little bone here. I'm not sure if that's a chew toy or actual dinner. Off on the opposite side of the building, we have a few accessories. On the far right, there's a little crate here with the Imperial logo, a larger brown crate with a wrench inside, a smaller gray crate with some binoculars within, and just behind all that, we have these 2 little triggers, which, when you nudge them or flick them, will, on the interior, will cause the minifigure to pop out of his seat, allowing you to recreate that brief firefight when we're first introduced to Han Solo. Back to the front, we can open the door by pulling it upwards, giving us a good view of another familiar scene from the cantina. Coming around to the back, we have another door that we can slide open in the same fashion, leading us to the little utility closet, where we find a few bottles of alcohol on the wall. I'm guessing down below are some of the mixers, a broom, because it's the desert, it gets really dusty around here, and another pair of binoculars. Moving on over to the 2 smaller structures, we have a smuggler's hut and a little shop. These 2 little structures can be split apart to make 2 independent structures, and just like the cantina, the roofs do open up to give you a better view of the interior. Additionally, the shop can be split wide open to give a full view of the interior. Not too much going on in here. A little mug and wrench over on the right, binoculars on the wall across from that. Over at the other side, we've got a weapon hanging on the wall, and another broom, because the sand and dust is, of course, everywhere. On the exterior, looks like there's a little workshop setup with a blowtorch and some other accessories. And now over to the smuggler's hut, where we can see in the far corner, he's got a little wrench. Next to that, a bag with some cool looking gems in them. And over on the left side, we've got a variety of tools and another pair of binoculars hanging on the wall. For our final structures, we have a pair of moisture evaporators, each one having its own mount point on the one side or the other of the cantina, and of course can be removed to save some space on the display or to allow you to expand and change up the scene. With our structures covered, we come to 2 little vehicles. First, we have the V35 Land Speeder. Not too much to see here, what you see is what you get, with space for 2 minifigures, one that rides up top in the fresh breezy air very comfortably, and the other who's required to be in a reclined position because it's very low ceiling in there. And then we have this other little ship. I really can't tell you too much about it. It's pretty much the same all the way around, not much to see, but the lid does flip open where we can see a tiny little cockpit with no windows. Now to the minifigures, where we've got quite a few to cover. First up, starting across the top line, we have 3 Bith musicians, Chewbacca, Mamwa Nadon, Greedo, Hondo Boba, and Dr. Evazan. Next up, again, also starting across the top row, first we have Labria, Gardenian, also known as the Imperial Spy, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Luke Skywalker, Ajawa, Wooher, C-3PO, and R2-D2. Finally, starting with the 4 on the left, we have Han Solo, Hertrek Kalfas, Kabe, and a Sand Trooper squad leader. Over on the right, we have just a regular Sand Trooper riding a dewback, which, as you can see here, is all mounted up with a saddle, but you can remove them to give a clean back. So as you can see, there's quite a bit in here. A lot to explore, a lot to set up, and a good amount of fun to be had here. If you like setting scenes, telling stories, or acting out scenarios, there's a lot of ground to cover here. And while there's definitely a lot of fun to be had here, they do lose a few points on not having a lot of things that actually move. There's a little basic ejector seat mechanism we saw earlier, and that's about it. Even the vehicles don't move around. The Land Speeder just sits on some flat pieces, no little wheels, and Guido's ship just sits there. I feel like they could have done a little bit more here to make this more of a play kit, but as it is, this is clearly made for display. As to the parts to reuse, I mean, there's a lot of them in here and there's a lot of really great bricks, but nothing that really stands out or is really all that remarkable. So if you're buying this to the parts, I'd imagine you have a very specific project in mind, where you need a lot of basic bricks and a very simple color palette. Otherwise, you probably want to look somewhere else. In my opinion, where this kit really shines, who it's really targeted towards, is someone who has some space. I can set this up and then expand upon it, because this kit really to me is just begging for more. More buildings, more minifigs, more speeders. Just build out more of the Mos Eisley spaceport. If you find that exciting or inspiring, then this very well might be the next set for you.